Hey there, welcome back. In this part of the course, we are going to go right into a bit of coding, just to start things off. We are going to build a simple Internet Movie Database scraper which basically parses data from a movie page, just like this, The Silence of the Lambs for example. By the way, it's a great movie. Since this is going to be the first one and the fastest, I just want you to see and get an idea of what it's possible to achieve in a short amount of time. So don't worry about not getting into too many details in this lecture. We are going to go more deep into it in the following ones. Okay, what we need to do now is basically send a direct request with nodeJs to the Internet Movie Database website and get the response back, which will be exactly this. Right click and view page source. This is the exact HTML content with JavaScript, CSS that we will also catch with our nodeJs scraper. Then we will need to use a nodeJs library called Cheerio, which can handle HTML content, and it acts with almost the same syntax as jQuery. So if you're familiar with the jQuery syntax, it would be much better. If not, don't worry, it's nothing fancy. First off, we need to import to our code the request promise library, which is responsible for handling the request to the Internet Movie website, and also the Cheerio library that we are going to use for parsing the HTML. First off, make sure that you are on the index.js file like we previously created and start importing the actual libraries. Constant request equals require request dash promise. This is the actual name of the library. And also constant Cheerio equals require Cheerio. This method is effective when the website that you want to scrape is not rendered after the user enters the page. In that case, we will need to learn a different method later on. So, since Internet Movie Database returns the full content of the website on request and it is not rendering after we access it, we are going to use request and also Cheerio for parsing. Okay, so what we need to do now is actually go to the Internet Movie Database website, find whatever movie you want and just copy the URL, because we are going to use it to send a request to the exact URL. Constant URL, and then we are just going to paste the movie page. Right now we need to basically write a simple async function that is going to be accessed when the nodeJs scraper gets here, because we actually cannot write async functions in the index without it being declared as async. What we just did right here is basically write a nameless async function that is going to be automatically executed once it gets here. So what we actually need to do now is install the request promise library and the Cheerio library, because we haven't done that yet. Request promise, and then we'll go to the terminal, and then we're going to install it with npm install -- save and just the name of the library. And we're going to do the same for Cheerio. npm install -- save Cheerio. This is basically to just install the packages locally and make sure that we can use them. So now that we have everything installed, we can actually make use of the request library. We are going to write const response, and we are going to await for the request to finish by sending in the request with the URL parameter. We can actually pass in multiple options, but right now it's all good. In order to check this line, we can actually console.log the response. We should expect to see a response just like this, simple and raw, JavaScript, HTML and everything. Okay, in order to run it, we actually need to go to the debugging tab right here. It's like a bug, green button, start debugging. Okay, so as you can see, it worked. We actually got what we needed. That means the script worked, and we can actually start passing it to the Cheerio library and then using it to go through each of the HTML properties and find out exactly what we need. We can actually remove the console log and make use of the Cheerio library. Let $sign equal Cheerio.load, and we are going to pass the response in. Okay. Right now we have the dollar variable responsible for the Cheerio with the actual response from the Internet Movie Database server. Right now we can start writing the scraping for the title of the movie. First off, let's go to the movie, right click on the title so that we can inspect the HTML. By the way, I'm using Chrome, and first thing that we can see is that the title is located under the div with the class title wrapper, and then we have a h1 element that contains the title of the movie and then the release date. It's no problem, we can actually easily select this with the jQuery syntax selectors, and let's see how we do this. First off, drag this here, drag this here so that I can see. Let title equal. So right here we just need to write the selector. We are going to do this by writing div because we want to select a div with the class of title wrapper. This is going to select us this element. And then we need to access the child h1, which is exactly this. Right now we have it accessed, and then we just need to get the text. This is going to get all the text inside of the h1 element, and it should return the Silence of the Lambs, parentheses, and then the release date of the movie. We can actually console.log the title and then run the scraper. Okay, so what we got here is the actual movie title, but it's in Romanian because Internet Movie Database knows that I'm from Romania and it tries to output the proper movie title in my language. But it's all good. Let's rewind a bit and ask ourselves, why did we use the div with the title wrapper and then select the h1 element instead of accessing the h1 element directly? We did this because the h1 only has an item prop equal to name. This doesn't mean anything, and it may be or may not be found somewhere else on the page, and then it would combine with what we need to scrape, and that's no good. The best way to do this is actually select a proper class name or ID that is distinctive and it does not appear again on the page. Let's also try right now to get the rating of the movie. The rating of the movie is 8.6, not bad, and right click inspect, and we can actually see that the rating is located under a span with item prop rating value. We can quickly check to see if this item prop is available again, but I already checked and this is a unique value on the website, so we can actually access it directly with the span that has item prop rating value and then get the actual text 8.6. Let's see how this is done. Let rating, again the $sign, and then we write here again the selector. We want a span with the item prop equal to rating value. Simple as that, and then we get the text inside of it. Let's console log it. Rating. Save it and run the scraper again. Okay, big success. We actually have the title and the rating of the movie. And in my opinion, this is enough for now, enough information. We should take a break and then go into much more details in the upcoming lectures. See you.